Hello Internet. I've had an idea for a while to do a series of videos on Dario Argento's Three Mothers movies, which consist of Suspiria, Inferno, and then much later on in the day, which I haven't seen, but I hear it's not very good, Mother of Tears. I guess if you're starting off with Suspiria, the bar is set very high. Whilst I was having this idea, there were rumours and rumblings of a Suspiria TV series, which then some more information sort of drip fed out, and it's possible that it might be based a little more on the writings of Thomas de Quincey. Now, he's a 19th century writer who was the inspiration for Argento's Three Mothers series. He's most famous for a collection called Confessions of an English Opium Eater, but the sequel to that work is called, and if you're an Argento fan, the title is going to ring some bells with you, but it's called Suspiria de Profundis, which means sighs from the depths. And it's a collection of essays and sort of prose poems and sort of thoughts of his, within which one of the chapters or one of the sections introduces us to these characters called Our Ladies of Sorrow. Mater Suspiriorum, Our Lady of Sighs, inspiration for the mother in Suspiria. Mater Lacrimarum, Our Lady of Tears, which must be the mother from the third film. And finally, Mater Tenebrarum, Our Lady of Darkness. And why Tenebrae isn't part of the Three Mothers trilogy and Inferno takes its place, I don't know why he didn't just switch out those titles. But anyway, these writings of De Quincey were obviously on his mind, and I thought it would be fun and interesting as a sort of introduction to the series of videos looking at Argento's Three Mothers Witch trilogy. It would just be nice to have the relevant excerpt from Suspiria de Profundis, which introduces and describes De Quincey's Three Mothers and what they represent. So I hope the sound volumes are okay, and here for your enjoyment and edification is a tiny excerpt from Thomas de Quincey's Suspiria de Profundis, introducing us, the world, to the concept of Our Ladies of Sorrow, the Three Mothers that Argento would then, it would spark something in his brain to make him create this trilogy of supernatural horrors. So I hope you enjoy. The eldest of the three is named Mater Lacrimarum, Our Lady of Tears. She it is that night and day raves and moans, calling for vanished faces. She stood in Ramah, where a voice was heard of lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted. She it was that stood in Bethlehem on the night when Herod's sword swept its nurseries of innocence, and the little feet were stiffened for ever, which, heard at times as they tottered along floors overhead, woke pulses of love in household hearts that were not unmarked in heaven. Her eyes are sweet and subtle, wild and sleepy by turns, oftentimes rising to the clouds, oftentimes challenging the heavens. She wears a diadem round her head, and I knew by childish memories that she could go abroad upon the winds when she heard the sobbing of litanies, or the thundering of organs, and when she beheld the mustering of summer clouds. This sister, the eldest it is, that carries keys more than papal at her girdle, which open every cottage and every palace. She, to my knowledge, sat all last summer by the bedside of the blind beggar, him that so often and so gladly I talked with, whose pious daughter, 8 years old, with the sunny countenance, resisted the temptations of play and village mirth to travel all day long on dusty roads with her afflicted father. For this did God send her a great reward. In the springtime of the year, and whilst yet her own spring was budding, he recalled her to himself. But her blind father mourns forever over her. Still he dreams at midnight that the little guiding hand is locked within his own, and still he wakens to a darkness that is now within a second, and a deeper darkness. This Mater Lacrimarum has also been sitting all this winter of 1844-5 within the bedchamber of the Tsar, bringing before his eyes a daughter not less pious, that vanished to God not less suddenly, and left behind her a darkness not less profound. By the power of the keys it is that Our Lady of Tears glides a ghostly intruder into the chambers of sleepless men, sleepless women, sleepless children, from Ganges to Nile, from Nile to Mississippi, and her, because she is the firstborn of her house and has the widest empire. Let us honour her with the title of Madonna. The second sister is called Mater Suspiriorum, Our Lady of Sighs. She never scales the clouds, nor walks abroad upon the winds. She wears no diadem, and her eyes, if they were ever seen, would be neither sweet nor subtle. No man could read their story. They would be found filled with perishing dreams, and with wrecks of forgotten delirium. But she raises not her eyes. Her head, on which sits a dilapidated turban, droops forever, forever fastens on the dust. She weeps not, she groans not, but she sighs inaudibly at intervals. Her sister, Madonna, is oftentimes stormy and frantic, raging in the highest against heaven and demanding back her darlings. But Our Lady of Sighs never clamours, never defies, dreams not of rebellious aspirations. She is humble to abjectness. Hers is the meekness that belongs to the hopeless. Murmur she may, but it is in her sleep. Whisper she may, but it is to herself in the twilight. Mutter she does at times, but it is in solitary places that are desolate as she is desolate, in ruined cities, and when the sun has gone down to his rest. This sister is the visitor of the pariah, of the Jew, of the bondsman to the oar in the Mediterranean galleys, and of the English criminal in Norfolk Island, blotted out from the books of remembrance in sweet far-off England. Of the baffled penitent reverting his eyes forever upon a solitary grave, which to him seems the altar overthrown of some past and bloody sacrifice, on which altar no oblations can now be availing, whether towards pardon that he might implore, or towards reparation that he might attempt. Every slave that noonday looks up to the tropical sun with timid reproach, as he points with one hand to the earth, our general mother, but for him a stepmother, as he points with the other hand to the Bible, our general teacher, but against him sealed and sequestered. Every woman sitting in darkness without laugh to shelter her head, or hope to illuminate her solitude, because the heaven-born instincts kindling in her nature, germs of holy afflictions which God implanted in her womanly bosom, have been stifled by social necessities, now burn sullenly to waste, like sepulchral lamps amongst the ancients. Every nun defrauded of her unreturning Maytime by wicked kinsmen, whom God will judge. Every captive in every dungeon, all that are betrayed and all that are rejected outcasts by traditionary law, and children of hereditary disgrace. All these walk with Our Lady of Sighs. She also carries a key, but she needs it little, for her kingdom is chiefly amongst the tents of Shem and the houseless vagrant of every clime. Yet, in the very highest walks of man, she finds chapels of her own. And even in glorious England there are some that, to the world, carry their heads as proudly as the reindeer, who yet secretly have received her mark upon their foreheads. But the third sister, who is the youngest, hush, whisper whilst we talk of her. Her kingdom is not large, or else no flesh should live, but within that kingdom all power is hers. Her head, turreted like that of Sibyl, rises almost beyond the reach of sight. She droops not, and her eyes rising so high might be hidden by distance, but, being but what they are, they cannot be hidden. Through the treble veil of crape which she wears, the fierce light of a blazing misery that rests not for matins or vespers, for noon of day or noon of night, for ebbing or for flowing tide, may be read from the very ground. She is the defier of God. She is also the mother of lunacies and the suggestress of suicides. Deep lie the roots of her power, but narrow is the nation that she rules. For she can approach only those in whom a profound nature has been upheaved by central convulsions, in whom the heart trembles and the brain rocks under conspiracies of tempest from without and tempest from within. Madonna moves with uncertain steps, fast or slow, but still with tragic grace. Our Lady of Sighs creeps timidly and stealthily, but this youngest sister moves with incalculable motions, bounding and with tiger's leaps. She carries no key, for though coming rarely amongst men, she storms all doors at which she is permitted to enter at all. And her name is Mater Tenebrarum, Our Lady of Darkness.